I live in Staffordshire in an area that's known as the Potteries, and that's because all of the finest pottery in the world is manufactured here. That's a lie. It used to be made here, now it's all made in China, but we've kept the name. And the term pothole actually comes from Stoke-on-Trent, because if a potter was walking along the road and espied a piece of clay with which he or she could make a pot, they would dig it up, thus leaving a pot hole. Whereas now we know pothole as a fucking great hole in the road, and in the UK we've got them in abundance. You cannot make a journey without running over something that will be doing damage to your car's tyres, suspension, tracking or wheel bearings, the sort of minor job that keep Halfords going. And on my way home from work today, my route as I leave is I have to go around a blind left-hand bend that then drops into a single carriageway tunnel. And as I went round the blind left-hander, suddenly I had to brake because in the tunnel was parked a van and a four-wheel drive with their hazards on and Highways Agency written on them. Now in hindsight, I think it might have been an idea to maybe put a sign up 100 yards before the tunnel saying something like obstruction or roadworks ahead. That's a lie. The roads in this country don't actually work. So I pulled up behind this 4x4, and by the time I put the car in reverse to turn around, already there's a traffic jam behind me going all the way back to fucking Birmingham. So I'm going to have to sit through whatever it is they're planning to do. And then something of a miracle occurred, because I realised they were actually going to fix a pothole. And if you're from the UK, you know how amazing that is. Any miracle that's taken place at Lord's, this tops it. Crying statue of the Virgin Mary, no, the Highways Agency are actually going to fix a pothole. And what happened was two men emerged from the van. And I thought this would be quite a technical process, but one man was carrying in a big plastic container what I imagine is some sort of pre-mixed tarmac, and he just tipped it into this hole. And the guy behind him came up with a shovel, and oddly he didn't try and level it out or anything, he just got the shovel and started fucking smashing it. And I realised at that point, this is a man who doesn't understand how shovels work. If you've not used one, they're not overly technical. There's a handle on one end and the other end's a bit sharp. That goes towards the ground. And I won't say they got it level. Basically, they've taken it from being a hole into a bit of a ramp. But it didn't take long. It took 3 songs. I know that's not an exact measurement of time, but I listened to 3 songs in how long it took them to fix the pothole. And remarkably, so there's one guy who's just tipped something, and then another guy twatting the tarmac, doing all the work, and they only needed 4 supervisors to get out the 4x4 and check they were doing it right. Even weirder though, they filled in one pothole in the space of 3 songs, and to be fair, that pothole's only been there for, 3 to 4 years, but they left the one next to it less than 3 feet away. I'd love to know how this works. Do they just have like a tombola that they spin round, or is it more likely it'd be some twat with a clipboard and a high-vis jacket with a graph going, yes, this is the minimum work for maximum disruption. So I've come up with a plan for this, because in Japan they fixed the roads after a fucking earthquake in 6 days. Here it takes 3 to 4 years to fill in something that big, and it requires 6 people to do it, only one of which is doing anything, and he's doing that wrongly. How about the government suspends all road fund licence or road tax until the roads are repaired, because I guarantee those fuckers would have it done overnight.